Hello dear guys, this is lesson 12 of CCNA 200-301 course, and we will talk about STP or S-Tree protocol. Let's go. First of all, let me say you why we need STP in switching. Imagine this network that it is my office network. I have 3 switches and connected all of them together. And made a loop, physical loop between switches for purpose of redundancy or maybe load balancing and so on. And maybe one problem occurs in this network. What's the problem? This is Bob, Mike, and Gina. My computer's IP address is 10.0.0.2. Bob ping 8 and ping 10.0.0.2. and start the sending package to Mike. But before reach the package to Mike, my computer is turned off. Well, it's turned off. So SW1 receives the packet that don't have in present now the destination. Okay, it will ask for anyone. I don't know Mike. SW3, do you know who is Mike? SW3 says, I don't know. SW asks from SW2, do you know? No, there is no any mic in this network now. So the packet loops around the network and performs the broadcast storm. The broadcast storms happen when any type of Ethernet packets, such as broadcast packets, broadcast frames, multicast frames, or unknown destination unicast frames, like this example, like Mike, loop around the LAN indefinitely and can saturate all the links with copies of that one single frame, crowding out good frames as well as significantly impacting end user computers or end user devices performance by making the PCs process too many broadcast frames. So what should be done to solve this problem? To solve the problem, a number is assigned to each switch called bridge ID, which includes a priority number with a default value of 327069 or 769 plus a specific MAC address of the same switch. Well, the mic is done, okay? The mic computer is turned off, and Bob start the sending packet to computer mic, which is not present now, and packets received to SW1. Then SW1 will send packets to SW3, and SW3 will float the packets from its old ports as same as SW1, and the end of the process of STP, one interface in one switch will be placed in block mode and will prevent for making loop packets around the network, and just from two physical interface packets will be transferred until this interface is correct, and until this packet is blocked. If one interface, this line is blocked, and if one interface in another switches or in another ports of switches fails, this block will be up and remain the way of transfer correctly. Well, and what is that exactly? There is an election between switches, and one route will automatically block like this, and it performs per VLAN. In details, there is an election. Election by what? Election by bridge ID between switches. As soon as we connect the switches in a loop, the switch claims that it is the superior switch or the original switch or the root switch, so it proves this claim. It sends its bridge ID to its connected switches to participate in this election. Well, what is the bridge ID? Bridge ID contains by two parts. The first part is priority number, which is default of 327069, plus the specific switch MAC addresses. That is unique, okay? And SW1 claims its own is root switch, because it think it has the best bridge ID and it has the best MAC address. Each bridge ID, each priority number or MAC address with lower value is the best in perform election, and has the best opportunity to be a root switch. So SW1 send packet to SW2. My bridge ID is 32769 0211, or my priority is 32769, and my MAC address is this. So I am the root bridge ID, as well as SW2. SW2 tells to SW1 my bridge ID is here and my MAC address is 0222, and root bridge ID, in my opinion, SW2 is me, and my root bridge ID is here. After negotiating between SW1 and SW2, SW2 knows, oh, SW1 is better. Why? The MAC address of SW1 is lower than my MAC address. Our priority, the first item for selecting which of these two switches is better, has better opportunity, is priority number. But when the priority number are same, that default it is. So the next item for comparing between two switches, the MAC address. So SW1 says SW3 is better than me, because it is MAC address is has value of has lower value than my MAC address value. Exactly the same thing happens between switch SW1 and SW3, also between SW2 and 3. Therefore, after all switches negotiate with each other, it is determined that SW1 or switch 1 has a smaller bridge ID number, and SW1 is selected as the root switch. Well, all ports of the root switch will be in forward state, which means that all ports will be active. How will the status of non-root switch ports be? In any non-root switch, the port through which that switch can access the root switch at a lower cost is known as the root port. For example, on SW2, this port is root port, and on SW3, this port is root port, and will be in the forward state. Will be placed in the forward state. SW2, this port will be forward, and SW3, this port will be forward. Now the main fight is between switch 2 and 3. Which one is better in this election? The switch that has a smaller or lower bridge ID, that is SW2. Therefore, the port from which SW3 is connected, this port, is connected to SW2, to switch 2 is blocked, and the possibility of creating a loop in the network is lost and prevented. So this port of switch 2 or SW2 will be in forwarding state, and this port of SW3 will be blocked. Well, but let's see what root ports really are and how they are selected, or in better words, what is the technical basis of choosing a specific route to communicate with the root switch. When non-root switches want to choose the main path of communication with the root switch, they do this based on a number called cost. Cost is here. Root cost 0, or any other switches as the cost. The switch always announces the root of its cost number as 0 to the others. But what about the rest of the switches, that is non-root switches? In non-root switches, any port that has a lower cost to reach the root switch is placed in the forward state, and which is called the root port. Well, for example, SW2 is root port for this interface is root port for SW2. Why? Because its receiving cost is 0. For example, if this port root cost is 19, 19 plus 0 will be result in 19, and definitely it will be lower than this. For example, this way, because imagine this way has the 19 cost, and this way 0 plus 19, 19 plus 19 will be more cost than this way. So SW2, this interface, has the lower cost than another ports for reach to SW1, and it will be placed in forwarding state, as well as SW3. So if you want to check between SW3 and SW2, we can see that the total cost will be more than their another ports. I said example 19, maybe 0, maybe 2, maybe 4, and any other items. I will discuss about the cost and what is that and what's the default values. Okay, and because SW2 interface into SW3 has the cost of 4, and it will be plus, and it will be summed by 5 that received from SW3 will be more than another port. So SW2, this upside port will be placed in forwarding state. SW3 upside port to the SW1 directly connected to the SW1 will be placed in forwarding state, and this port of SW3 will be blocked. Why SW3? Because the SW2 and 3 priority numbers are same, are default value, but the MAC address of the SW2 is lower than the MAC address of SW3, 200.22, 200.33. Because of this reason, the port at side of SW3 will be blocked, and loop will prevent it in the network. And what is the cost? The cost values may be 119.42 if your port is gigabit per second. If your port is 10 gigabit per second, your default cost will 2. Sorry, if your port is 1 gigabit per second speed, 4 will be 4. If 100 will be 19, and if 10 megabit per second will be 100. These are the default values of cost that will be configurable on each port. Okay, that's all. At the end, I would like to say one thing, that you can select the root switch or root ports manually and don't allow automatic selection. For example, if you want to always send data from a specific path according to a specific security policies, paths to that you can implement security settings and restrictions on them. You will see these things in the next video, which is completely laboratory and practical. Have a nice time, and let's go to the next video.